Okay, welcome to another round of Aero League Racing Tier 3 Blue Season 19 Round 6. This time we're at Monza. We're doing the no chicane version for the very first time. So basically it's the exact same track without the very first chicane on the track. So they get to some really high speeds on by the time that they actually reach what is now the first chicane. And it could create some interesting scenarios into turn one. We'll have to see how everyone manages to negotiate it. But yeah, let's go through the grid. In last place, we've got Matthew in the 1990s GTR GT500 car. So it doesn't look like it's got much pace. At the top speed, this is a very high speed track. We've got Yuri in P2 in the other 1990s car. He's in the Toyota this week. Might be a bit disappointed with a P14. And we've got O'Leary in the BMW M6 in 13th place. I think it is a bit of a better car than P13. Then we've got the Alfa Romeo. We've got Swavey back after a few seasons off. He is in, was in Tier 2 last time he raced. He's in Tier 3 and he's lining up in P12 in the Alfa, which is good on his top speed. So expecting to see him come through potentially. Morrison in the other old Toyota is in P11, and then we've got Spin, his teammate is in P10. That means Yuri was in the old Nissan as well. So yeah, both of them setting very similar times. Maybe they were helping each other with the slipstream in qualifying. Then we have Rich in P9. He's in the Audi, which does get some good top speed. It might struggle a bit in the feature race with the tyre wear on the MR cars though. Similar for Pasty, who's actually been out-qualified by Hurricane for the first time in quite a while, if ever, potentially. Pasty usually has maybe 3 or 4 positions on Hurricane. So maybe a good qualifying there for Hurricane. It was a bit of a different kind of qualifying session with Slipstream being so important. Zab in the other M6 is up in P6. Then we've got Captain Eli in P5 in the McLaren right behind his teammate Musa, who is lining up in 4th. Then we've got our Runaway Championship leader Claus in 3rd place only, being out qualified by H-Boss, definitely his best qualifying of the season, and this might be the second pole for Clyde. He's set some really good qualifying times. So let's see if he can translate that into a good result in this race. Let's get it going. We've got 9 laps here of action. The start's going to be incredibly important here. And it looks like a better reaction time from H-Boss, and Clyde is still going to get a good start because he's in the AMG. Claus coming up right behind him. They might be able to get some bump drafting going on as we go around the first corner, which is just a right-hander, full throttle. Some of them might have to lift if they are going side by side. Looks like some people it might be 3 wide a little bit further back. Looks like H-Boss is challenging for the lead though on the inside of this corner, and Clyde having to go the long way around, getting bumped through by his teammate Claus. So Clyde should be comfortably ahead going into the chicane here. And it looks like everyone is making it round. A little bit of contact there between Spin and Hurricane, and then a lot of contact. Someone's completely round. It is one of the... It's Clyde. What's happened there to Clyde? Because it looked like he got a really normal exit out the corner. Did he just lose it on his own potentially? He did. And he couldn't get it righted, and then there's contact with one of the other cars because he wasn't ghosted as well. Looks like a pretty bad start as well for Matthew and Yuri. I don't know what's happened to these guys. So it's like Yuri goes off track and so does Matthew. So that's quite a bad incident there. So they are cut off from the back, and as we're about to see, Clyde spin off, which means that H-Boss is about to take the lead of this race where that accident just happened. You've got the 2 McLarens really close behind each other as well. Musa trying to get ahead of Claus into the first Lesmo, and he doesn't manage it. Eli's trying to get past his teammate now as well. It looks like his teammates let him go. Now he's put a nose up in there on Claus. These are the top 2 in the championship in fighting for P2 right now. And H-Boss has got himself a nice little gap with all this fighting going on. So it looks like Eli is chucking it down the inside. And much later braking. Is he going to overshoot? He does indeed. He's going over the gravel as well. Here's his teammate, and he's going to rejoin just behind. Hurricane's going to get past him, and he's going to continue dropping places here, I'm sure. Pass going very wide there, managing to hold it. Looks like Captain Eli might get away with P5 here, but Pasty and Spin are catching up pretty quickly. Spin getting bumped through by his teammate as well. And Pasty getting overtaken by both Toyotas there. Eli still in 5th, isn't getting slipstreamed, and I think Morrison might bump Tin and himself clear of Captain Eli, and Pasty might be able to join in on this action as well. He is catching up very quickly, so what does Pasty want to do? Is he going to help the Toyotas and get the job done along with them? Morrison is actually making it 3 wide into this corner, not quite sure what's going on, but that's allowed Eli to stick in. He should have just bumped his teammate around the corner. Zab's got a good run round here as well. He's the only person who didn't have to lift there, and he's ahead of Pasty, who ends up being a big loser here. Looks like Morrison might lose a position to him as well. He's slotted in P7, and Pasty's going to try and follow him through. Not able to do it yet. A little bit further up, looks like Claus has caught up to H-Boss nicely on this lap. H-Boss made himself maybe a second or two gap, but it has been caught now. Claus looked like he got a really good run out of that corner. And some bump drafting going on instead, so maybe trying to create a bit of a gap to Hurricane behind, so that they can just fight it out for the win between themselves. Hurricane just settling into 3rd now, still ahead of Musa, so a good start here for Hurricane, from 7th to 3rd. Swavy's got himself up to 9th, Richard's about to serve a second penalty and drop out of the top 10. So that promotes O'Leary to reverse grip hole. And then you've got these guys a little bit further back, not completely cut off, but not troubling anything at the moment. H-Boss a little bit stronger through the final sector, has a little gap on Claus, who's going to close that up later on in the straight. So let's see how he closes. Actually, he's quite far back. The MG has a slightly better 6th gear than the Jag, so he should be able to close up this gap by the braking point, but probably a bit too far to go for a move. You can see it's really closing in now. H-Boss a little bit tight around that corner. And yeah, he has caught up by the corner, but H-Boss was stronger on the infield section on the previous lap. Spin looks like he's holding up Zab a little bit around the infield section. And yeah, he wants to go for a move, but the corner just comes a little bit too early. But he got an alright exit there. Might be able to catch Spin by the next corner. No, not much he could do there. We got a bit of a run on from Claus on H-Boss though, and he might fancy the move into Parabolica. Right, it doesn't look like he's pulling out. It is better to overtake on the straight because it's there's a few corners after that where you can try and build up a little bit of a lead. But Hurricane's still not that far behind. Looks like Zab's actually got the move done on Pasty. On Spin, sorry. Spin falling a little bit backwards here. Stuck on the outside for Parabolica. A little bit of contact with Zab. And then Pasty's just going to go through as well. A little bit of a drag race between them. Oh no, Pasty's fully ahead. So what about at the front? Still slipstreaming, still bump drafting. But Hurricane's getting help himself from Musa, so they're both at it. It does look like that gap is shrinking. Eli's not that far behind either. Here we go, this is surely going to be... No, he goes for another bump draft just before the braking zone. And they both still make the corner. And again, Claus having a little look, but doesn't feel comfortable enough to go for the move still. And this is again a good run for Claus, where he probably is in a position to attempt an overtake if he wants to. And it's another bump. So let's see what's happened a bit further down, because Spin is plummeting down the grid here. think he's just fallen out of the top 8 completely now. Oh, he's gone on the gravel. That'll do it. So there's Swavey up into 8th on his return, which would be a good result and a good starting position for the future. Eli catching up to Hurricane and Musa now as well. So if the 3 of them can start working together, they'll definitely catch the front 2 before the end of the race. At the rate it's going, even with the bump drafting that Claus is doing on HBoss, it doesn't seem to be enough at the moment. So we might have a 5-way fight for the win here. As long as the McLarens are clever and they don't lose time trying to challenge Hurricane to get that position. Yeah, there's a bump. Eli will be catching up pretty quickly now with that bump as well. He might catch up for actually up mid-corner here. Oh, he lifts very slightly. He's kind of pushed Musa out wide, and Musa's actually thinking about going for a move now finally. So this is going to cause a little bit of chaos here. Oh, and Eli has nearly comes to a complete stop just to make sure he avoided anybody. Musa's got the position on Hurricane though, so that is potentially good for Musa. If he's got a little bit more pace, he can hunt down the front 2. Might be a bit difficult without any bump drafting though, unless Hurricane plays the game and stays close. Yeah, these guys lapping in the, what, 39.9 for both of them, and a 40.8 for Musa, 40.9 for Hurricane, 40.2 for Eli. So yeah, they are still losing a bit of ground actually to the top 2. So maybe that move from Musa was necessary to get done. Oh, Eli's missed his braking point in the gravel. So through goes Pasty and Zab. He's going 30 odd kilometers an hour here to try and get back on. He's outside the top 10. That's going to be a long feature race for Captain Eli by the looks of things. Bye, Eli. Right, the battle for P9 between O'Leary and Rich. Rich has quite a good look on the inside here in his Audi. He's really riding the curbs. Gets a very tight exit here, so has a bit of help from the way that the track bends. O'Leary has a bit more track on the exit though, could take a bit of a earlier acceleration point. So Rich has to tuck him behind now. Are they going to start working together? Because they could still catch some cars in front. There is still time in this one. They are working together, so let's go a little bit further forward. And Claus having a little look again into the braking point, doesn't go for a move. Has to be really careful on the inside of that corner there. I thought Claus had a run then, but I don't know what happened, he just slotted back in. And he is feeling comfortable, so their last lap again was another 39.9, so that's solid. Musa with the overtake was only 2/10 down, and he has dropped Hurricane. Obviously, Pasty is now in P5, quite a way back, and Zab, very, very good performance so far for Zab, up in P6 in this M6, potentially getting a top 5 out of this. Oh, a little bit wide in the middle of the fast chicane there. But no harm done really. Now at the front, we're running out of laps here for Claus to decide to make his move. He's been in the position where he could several times and completely backed out of it. It's created quite a big gap to Musa, so a challenge could happen sooner rather than later. He's got the time to play with. HBoss keeping this lead quite well out of that last corner. And now Claus is looking a little bit hungry here. Still hasn't gone for the move. Now he was really strong out of the chicane on the previous lap. Looks like he's stronger than HBoss again. He could have committed himself to going for a move there, but instead he backs out again. Oh, he's lost it a little bit. This is going to give H-Boss a lot of breathing room now, as long as H-Boss nails this second Lesmo, which he does. So he could be in for another H-Boss win. He got one, I think, last season. Hasn't got one this season yet. I'm not sure if he's been on the podium. I don't think so. So this is going to be his best result regardless. Really late braking there for Claus. Manages to get the car turned in very nicely though. Has to lift going round the chicane. That's interesting. And you can see he's being punished for it because H-Boss still has a pretty alright gap. He'll get caught again on the straight with only 2 laps to go now. Very wide corner there for Claus. But again, it doesn't matter too much because he's still tucked very nicely into the slip. And there's not really any benefit to bump drafting anymore. Unless he wants to bump draft him around this corner and then go for the overtake into the braking zone. Yep, another bump there. Surely now, H-Boss going a little bit defensive. So Claus doesn't even think about it really. And again, a very strong exit from that corner for the AMG. But yeah, H-Boss is driving very well. He's under a lot of pressure here and he's not made any mistakes. And again, the exit for that AMG just seems to be on a different planet, the way that Claus can carry the extra speed around the corner. And yeah, look at the lift and coasting that's going on. Would be handy in the feature race, with all the fuel saving that you can do. He could easily go for a move here into Parabolica, but he's going for another bump. We are about to start the final lap. Oh, he thought about it. H-Boss not interested. Just go a little bit wide on the exit. And a very strange corner for Claus, where he kept it tight on the exit there. It didn't really help much. Now, final lap. This has got to be it down this straight. He's got to go for it. H-Boss is leaving the inside for turn 1 open. This is where you stick it, and he has done. And it looks comfortable. Now, H-Boss can get back in the slip and go for a move into the braking zone if he wants. This might be his only opportunity to try and get the move back. He's thinking about it, and he decides against it. He has to stay so close to Claus out of the second Lesmo, but again, Claus gets such a good exit out of that corner. He's just put 3 car lengths additional between himself and H-Boss. And it looks like it's going to be curtains, unless there's a mistake for Claus now. That is P1 done and dusted. It looks like it's going to be another win for Claus. Let's have a quick look at some other battles further down. So Swavy's got himself up into 6th, really impressive. He's got a half-second penalty and a lot of drivers behind, so it doesn't look like it's going to stay 6th. We've got Captain Eli. He has worked his way back into 10th, so that's reverse grid pole, which is quite impressive considering the mistake and the positions lost. So he's done well to get back to this big pack of cars here, and it bodes well for the future if he can drive away from this pack, which looks like it's going to be led by Zab in P9. But let's see what happens with Swavy. Here's the penalty coming. Yeah, it looks like he's going to lose to spin, but let's join Claus. He's come out of Parabolica for the last time. Has created a nice gap on this final lap after overtaking H-Boss. Has led only 1 lap of the race, but takes the victory. H-Boss gets the fastest lap and takes P2 as well. I think he should be pleased with that regardless. Musa in 3rd, rounds out the podium. Hurricane in 4th and Pasti in 5th, so good sprint race for the Jags. 6th place for Rich, really good result for him, who's only made a couple of starts so far. Swavy 7th on his return, Zab 8th, Spin 9th, Eli 10th, and O'Leary just slightly behind. Won't be starting in the reverse grid positions, will be starting 11th. Morrison will be starting 12th, and there's Matthew Yuri with a 2-second penalty, and Clyde all the way at the back. Our pole sitter will be scoring no points and having a bit of an uphill battle on his hands for that feature. really cut off at the end, at the back here. So yeah, that's unfortunate. He's got the pace for tier 3, he needs the consistency. Now let's find this replay for the feature. Claus edging ever closer to his championship. This would be his second championship in tier 3. He's won a tier 4 championship as well. Has been in tier 2 for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and struggled against the quicker paced cars. So it'll be interesting to see how he does next time, next season, because for sure he has a one-way ticket to tier 2 after this dominant display in this season. So let's have a quick check on tyres. It's going to be a mix between hard mediums, medium hards, and medium softs. A lot of the FR cars can make the medium soft work. It's going to be mediums for Clyde, Yuri, Matthew, Morrison. It's going to be hards for O'Leary. I did see the M6s were struggling to make the tyres last because of the fuel situation that they have. Claus on the mediums, same with H-Boss, hards for Musa, hards for Hurricane and Pasty and Rich, because these are all MR cars, and Swavey, who's in an MR. Then we have Zab in the BM on mediums, Spin on mediums, and Eli is going to be on hards. So Spin and Zab should be the two that make their way up into P1 if they are aware, if they checked what tyres people were on before the race started. They would know that they need to work together to get past Eli, but let's see what happens. Eli did have good pace on the softs. It could be easily translated to the hards as well. And everyone just tucks into line, trying to get into the slipstream as early as possible. Looks like a little bit of a battle between Musa and H-Boss already. The quick starting Jag on the inside here has overtaken Musa. Musa's got a bit of slipstream from Hurricane, which is helping him pull back alongside. But now it's going to switch back to the Jag, who has the inside line for this corner. No, it looks like Musa's got it. Let's go a bit further forward. Looks like Swavey is thinking about a move on Zab, decides to tuck back in. Pasty going down the outside of Rich, and it doesn't work, but he still tucks in. Bit of contact there between Hurricane and Musa. Musa down quite a way further down. He does brake a lot later, and he has to kind of dive his way in, which results in Hurricane getting shoved onto the orange curb, and he just shoves Musa off. I think that's just a racing incident personally, after Musa badly judged the braking point. It kind of caused a chain reaction. Claus now ahead of H-Boss as well, so already up into P8. He did what he struggled to do for most of the sprint race pretty much instantly. Eli's got himself a second penalty. That is almost definitely through the chicane as well. This is going to be very painful for the race leader on his hard tyres, because no one's really spread out in the field just yet. Zab went very defensive on Swavey, keeps the position, but it might set up Swavey down the next corner. Let's see what this second penalty does in terms of dropping Eli back. He's trying the grass cutting technique. Spin takes lead of the race. Swavey is going to go up into P2, and Zab and Rich are closing in very quickly. And Eli's really wide on his hard tyres, putting way too much faith in the grip of those hard tyres, and he's got overtaken by Zab and Rich and Pasty. Now he's going to at least be able to go into Pasty's slipstream and get a little bit of speed back, as everyone made their tyres incredibly dirty just then. Now, are we still going to be in the bumping phase? Nope, no chance for Rich. Rich is going for it. He's got really good speed on that BMW, and it looks like it was the right decision, because it was just one-way traffic. I think Zab might have been anticipating a bit of a move there. He's got a fight for the lead. Swavey much later on the brakes and is able to take the apex. He's a bit out of shape on the exit, but Spin has to back out a bit. Rich might take advantage and try and get them both here. And he has to back out a little bit, but the top 4, top 5 are incredibly close. Eli recovering. He's already got past Pasty again. So that's one position up, and he's still very close to the front where he had it. So he's not lost time, he's just lost positions, and that was a really strange incident there on the exit of the second Lesmo. Let's see from Spin's point of view what's happening here. Looks pretty normal. Swavey really wide through the corner, and then loses a bit of traction and kind of slaps Spin off track momentarily. Swaby's lost loads of time here, and Spin is just in P2. Rich has just taken the lead very fortuitously there. So I think that's the first time he's leading an ALR race. And Eli going absolutely sending it on the inside, knowing that Spin didn't have the best, not Spin, Zab didn't have the best top speed into the braking point, and Swaby's got past him too. He gets bumped by Pasty, so he's got a bit of a chance on the outside here, but Swaby's just pulling away from him very quickly. Now Pasty's thinking about going on the inside, there's no space there. Eli is sending it on Spin to try and get this position back. And he does get it. So we've got Rich on the hard, Spin on the hard, Captain Eli on the hards, Spin on the mediums as we finish lap 2. So again, Spin should easily be able to do the medium soft with that car. He's going for the bump draft. They want to catch P1 again after all the fighting. But look at this. Oh my. 3 wide. Not really going to work out when only one part of the track is getting quite severe slipstream. So they all took exactly back into where they were. Pasty's thinking about going for a move. It's not wide. Hurricane nearly bumps Swaby off the track there as well. Then Swaby gets a big bump there before the braking zone, and everyone is trying to organise the way around, and there is the little bump off track. That was a little bit naughty. Let's see it again. This might have been in the stewards. I can't remember what's been reported. Yeah, Hurricane didn't get the car turned onto the curb at all, so that's why that one happened. So Swaby loses a couple as a result of that. H-Boss benefits as well. Rich has a 1.5 second penalty, and he's about to lose P1 to Eli here on the inside of the second Lesmo. Gets the position done. Rich is going to hopefully bump draft and try and get a little bit of extra time here, because he's going to potentially drop outside the top 8, maybe top 7. Spin fancying this move as well. Remember, Spin on the mediums doesn't want to get caught in all this fighting that he has been. And there is a little bit of a mistake on the traction, and a little bit of contact with Morrison. He's got a bit of damage. Morrison's going to lose some positions. Rich is going to drop probably all the way to the back there. Morrison with the damage getting punted down to 10th behind Matthew now. So Matthew and Yuri making good progress here, and Swaby very late on the brakes, trying to get a move done around the outside of Hurricane. That doesn't work. He's gone completely off track there because there was nowhere for him to go with that mistake. So that's going to give the chance for Yuri to get a great exit out of Parabolica and try and get ahead. Hurricane giving Swaby the slip here at the moment, and the Alpha is just shifting into an extra gear by the looks of things, and it's just comfortably ahead of Yuri there. They should start bump drafting. They need to work together at this stage. Because Captain Eli, despite his second penalty dropping to 5th, by lap 4 he's already back into the lead of the race, so it's going very, very well. And where's Claus, by the way? He's down in 10th. So Claus not having the best of an opening. He's been overtaken by some people who didn't finish in the points as well. Got a fairly decent exit there compared to Matthew, but they are side by side into the next corner. And they shuffle back in. So a little bit of a queue forming behind Swaby. The top 3 all looking fairly comfortable. We've got Zab ahead of Spin, both of them on the mediums. So this is good progress for Zab. Pasty down at 4th. H-Boss on his mediums, chasing down Pasty. So maybe at the exit of the chicane he's going to have a good run on Pasty. Pasty really deep in there. H-Boss went a little bit deep as well, but on the mediums you can easily recover from that. Pasty looked like he had a better middle section and a poor exit as a result, and H-Boss is going to get the run on him. Pasty giving himself a half-second penalty anyway, so he's probably not going to fancy fighting this one too much. Spins, meanwhile, in front, just got ahead of Zab on the exit as well. It's all closing up, and Eli's still looking a bit comfortable, but he had a little twitch there. So let's go back and see. Zab got himself a half-second penalty as well. So him and Pasty making the same mistake on that lap, and that's why Spin was able to get past so easily. But let's just have a look. A little wobbly moment here for Captain Eli. Don't want to be losing it on these hards. He struggled around this corner on lap 1 as well. Again, very wide, goes over the sausage curb, nearly spins it as well. That is a lot of speed killed. They're only going 220, there's about 5 mile an hour difference here between Spin and Eli, so I think Spin could get the lead of this race here. Is Zab going to help him? I think he should. Yeah, there is the help, so that's going to give Spin even more speed here. Yeah, he's about 5 kilometers an hour quicker at the moment still. It's not going to be enough into the chicane, surprisingly. So a get out of jail free card there for Captain Eli. Zab just had a little look at Spin. A little bit further down, we've got some more fighting. Claws ahead of Hurricane, ahead of Matthew, Clyde. Musa's still down in 11th. That's not a good start at all. And Rich, who was leading in lap 2, down in 14th. So Zab is probably going to drop. Maybe Zab will get away with it actually with his half second. Pasty's going to drop multiple positions here. I think Zab might get away with it because the closest person to Zab is Pasty, who's also got a penalty. H-Boss potentially outside chance of picking up 2 positions and getting into the top 3 again in this feature. If he gets a really good exit here, he did get a better exit than Pasty anyway. Now here's the penalty. There's Pasty. Let's see how far down he drops. And yeah, it isn't enough to catch up to H-Boss yet. Pasty fighting with our championship leader Claus into the final corner. Claus looks like he's got that position as well. So there's 3 positions lost for Pasty. H-Boss now at the head of this little train. And Zab a little bit cut off, but he's not losing any time now, and that still ended up being his fastest lap despite the half-second penalty, which is a little bit crazy. Yeah, his fastest lap is 2 seconds slower than Claus' fastest lap. That's... And he's beaten Claus. So here's Swavey. He's managed to get himself past H-Boss, who didn't have any slipstream. Now H-Boss gets a huge punt from Claus, and they're both trying to get past Swavey. A little bit of contact there, some lifting having to happen with Swavey as well. I think Claus is trying not to keep the position, but Pasty's right behind as well. So they all have to just slot in here. So a little bit of a hairy moment for everyone involved there, but everyone survives. Still a very good position here for Captain Eli, who I think hasn't won a race yet. Claus has just won all of them. H-Boss flashing, putting on his hazards. I don't know, I think that might have been signalling to please bump draft instead of fighting. I think they all want to work together to catch the front guys. They can see them in their sights. If they start fighting, that might change. And a little bit wide there for Captain Eli. Oh dear. Not really under any pressure, unless there's a bit of contact mid-corner. Real slow entry there from Eli. But he should give him a good exit. And he goes over the gravel. That's a disaster. So Spin surely takes P1. Zab is way too close behind and is going to get that position again. So a real yo-yo race here for Captain Eli. First to 5th to 1st to 3rd now. Good exit from Zab as well. Very, very good first stint from Zab. And from Spin. Spin always finds himself at the front end of these feature races, regardless of where he finishes in the sprints by the looks of things. And Zab is going to be enjoying the slipstream because the BMW doesn't have the greatest top end at the moment. Eli fancying a position back already, and he has absolutely sent it on both of them, and had to look. It looked like he maybe took too much curb and had to back out a bit, a little bit. He's got himself damaged, so he's clipped the inside. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get damage on this part of the track before. So he's sending it. Spin's not expecting it, but then he does see it at the last second. But Eli kind of overreacts and drives into the wall there, gives himself a bit of damage. Shocks these two, but they're still in P1 and 2 anyway. And Eli maybe coming under a little bit of pressure. He's still got the damage. H-Boss catching him up as we go through some more corners with damage. It's going to be very tough for Eli to maintain his normal pace here. And he's still got damage through this corner as well. and a little bit wobbly on the exit, and it's gone now finally, so he can breathe a sigh of relief. And what we're hoping is that he can drive away from H-Boss. Claus in the top 5 as well, so I think the top 5 are all in with a shout of victory here. Hurricane a little bit too far back on his hard tyres. Matthew doing a great job in 7th. Swaby, Morrison and Yuri in the top 10. And Clyde hanging on there in 11th. Then a little bit of a gap to these three, Musa, Pasty and Rich, who should really all be at the front, but they're all the way at the back. Which just shows one tiny thing can happen and completely derail you when the pace is so tight like this. So we might see some pit stops on lap 10 for people who are doing medium hard, I think. Oh, hard medium, sorry. Because you could do a lot of laps on the mediums. And they would give them quite a good undercut. Here's H-Boss going for a move on Eli. He had some great speed and the slipstream, and now he's got the inside line. Eli going to try and squeeze him by the looks of it. And they're still identically side by side, but now Eli has the advantage. Looks like Zab had a little look at spin as well, and a really good turning there from Eli to actually make the full chicane and avoid a penalty. And because H-Boss is a little bit out of shape now, he's coming under pressure from Claus, who had a little nose on the inside, has absolutely sent it, and that should be a good P4 for Claus. So unlucky there for H-Boss, down to 5th now, but he's still only a couple of seconds away from the lead, and if he's who's looking after their fuel the best, pretty even. Looks like, yeah, Claus might be looking after his fuel the best actually. Which is a surprise for the MJ, but you can short shift it. And a good little exit there for Claus. Also a good exit for H-Boss. I think the Jag really likes the faster corners around here. Is he going to send it here? The question is he going to start bump drafting Claus? I think he has no reason not to, but I think Claus might be the biggest threat for a race win here. Claus on the mediums, H-Boss on the mediums. Eli actually the only one in the top 5 on the hards. So he's doing well to still stick it with these guys. The tyre compound impact, because there's not as many corners, isn't that great when you factor in slipstream in between every corner is quite significant as well. Huge lift there for H-Boss, gives Claus a lot of breathing space and actually gives him the opportunity to go for a move now into P3. He's absolutely got Eli's number here, and he's going to get the car turned in very nicely there, and that is P3 sorry for Claus. P1's just a little bit further up, which Spin is still defending for his life to keep, and Zab's not really been able to go for a move. It looks like he's had a couple of looks here and there, but nothing that's stuck. But despite that, they've not really managed to create much of a gap. It's been caught incredibly quickly now by Claus, who has kind of been unleashed. It was losing maybe 2 seconds a lap on the last 3 laps. Claus, yeah, doing some fuel saving into the braking zone, lifting and coasting. Which is a great benefit to have when you're the following car. You can't really do it when you're the lead one, because you just get overtaken by someone when they realise where you're lifting. Zab under a bit of pressure now from Claus. Claus looks like he's going for it as well. Zab choosing to stay in the slipstream rather than covering off the inside line, and that might be P2 for Claus as a result. Very, very close between them, and Zab is pulling again. So bump draft or overtake. Looks like he's going for the bump draft. Now what's Zab going to do in return? He is going for the overtake. They're going for the 2 for 1. This happened quite a lot in Tier 2 as well. 2 drivers comfortably ahead of the driver who was leading the race. And now it looks like he's not even going to be able to put in a challenge. He might be overtaken on by both cars around both sides. This is really hairy coming into the chicane. Eli's going to make contact with Claus. This is a disaster. They all kind of make it through apart from Spin. Oh my goodness. So Spin just lost the lead. This is disaster. And then he's stuck in the middle of two cars in the braking zone. It's single file. A little bit of contact with H-Boss. I think he should have taken a bit of a wider line around there. And he loses a huge chunk of time. Hurricane quite far back, but now it's going to be a bit of a lonely race. It's still chaos at the front though. Eli in third, H-Boss in fourth, Claus up to second now, and Zab is leading the race. Hell no. That was the most unfortunate corner I've ever seen, or sequence of events. Just completely betrayed and bump drafted past by the front two, and then the other two go either side of you, and then you just end up in the gravel. A little bit of a dodgy corner there for H-Boss, so Eli's going to have a bit of breathing space, and it looks like the top two have maybe a second or a second and a half gap on Captain Eli, who might struggle a little bit for slipstream unless he really gets a good exit out of this final corner. Oh, bit deep. Yeah, and a bit late on the throttle, but it didn't look like this front two had a good corner either. Yeah, spins all right. He's on his own now. And in comes Hurricane. I thought the Lambos might be the first ones to come in. So 10 laps on the hard tyres, and the rest are going to be on the mediums. This looks like a good little battle between all the old cars and Clyde. Morrison looks like he's losing out on this one. Yuri got ahead and he's giving tow to Matthew instead of Morrison, because Matthew's his teammate, so they both worked well together there. But a little bit wide through the corner for Matthew has allowed Morrison to get back up on the inside. And Matthew kind of backs out a bit. A little bit further up, Musa and Swavey having a little battle with Clyde as well, just behind. Musa ahead of Swavey into 6th. And because these are all fighting, it's going to give Spin, who's just gone through the second Lesmo, a bit of extra breathing space to these cars behind. Huge snake of cars. Musa wasn't having the best of times. Swavey's definitely not having the best of times. But he's made his way back up to 6th, so this is a good little recovery from Musa. Clyde going for the move on Suave as well, with the inside line. Is he going to get it turned? Just about. Oh no, oh dear. And Suave's backing out, and everyone else is going to come around at full pelt here. Clyde's going to be the big loser. Oh, Suave's got a penalty as well. This is great news for everyone else. Clyde's being knocked completely out of contention here, down to 11th. Everyone else, oh, there's been contact between Yuri and Matthew. They both go wide. Their teammates as well. Oh dear. Swavey with a penalty has lost a position to Morrison, and Clyde is in 9th now, as we see a couple more drivers in the pits. Captain Eli and Musa off their hards. They'll be doing mediums as well. At the front, Claus and Zab look like they're working together. Lots of bump drafting going on again between Claus and the driver in P1 for the second race in a row. H-Boss trying really hard to stick with them. Then we have Spin, we have Swabi with his penalty. We've got Clyde ahead of Morrison now. Looks like Clyde's on the move. He doesn't really need to get an overtake done on Swavey, so maybe he's not going to go for it. And Swavey going just ultra defensive into this corner. And this is going to be a slow chicane for both of them. And Morrison might get this position back again. Clyde's holding it around the outside pretty nicely, but goes a little bit too deep into the gravel. Morrison gets the position. Clyde has to tuck back in behind, just ahead of Yuri and Matthew, who we saw having their problems. So Eli is out of the pits, and he's ahead of Hurricane, who's coming in now, and then Moose is a little bit further behind. Then we have Pasty and O'Leary. The 5 that have already made their pit stops will be getting a nice little undercut on everyone else, especially if they continue battling. So how much fuel does everyone have, and tyres? So Zab's tyres are a little bit better than Claus's. We know the BMW's is slightly better, and H-Boss's are a little bit better as well. The Jag does have good tyres. Spin's tyres look absolutely fine. We have Morrison's. Yuri's struggling a little bit, but he's made his way up into 6th regardless, so it doesn't really matter for him. Swaby's are very good, but they are hard tyres, so he might start getting a bit of an advantage now as the mediums are starting to wear quite severely on a lot of these cars. Rich into the pits. This group of 5 could, like, theoretically, easily reach the front guys. Oh dear, what? But they needed to work together. They needed to just focus on a massive 5-car bump draft for the next 3 or 4 laps, and they'd be right with the front guys. So what's happened here? Nothing really. It just collection. And then what happened with Yuri? Did he just get distracted? So he was at the front. He was doing pretty well. He was at the front of these guys. So what happens here? He gets bumped and he's going around the corner and he's lifting and it's not enough. He's got full lock on and he touches the grass, which means he goes into the wall. So these two completely out of contention. That is some extra people that Eli is going to be catching up to probably before the next corner. Let's see what happens here. Remember, Eli is a pit stop done. And Yuri actually makes the corner before Eli catches him. Swavey is a fair bit ahead. Clyde's got a 2-second penalty. Disaster. So that will drop him behind Matthew and potentially behind some people who will undercut him as well, who've already made their stop. Claus continuing to bump Zab. Claus doesn't have too many laps. Maybe he's going to have to pit a lap earlier than Zab as well on his worn tyre there. And Zab's fuel is a little bit more worn, so Zab's been pushing flat out probably for most of this race. And we're going to see some more bumping. Yeah, we are. Okay, let's go back to where the action was. So Eli's caught up to Yuri very nicely here on his fresh mediums. He needs to just go for it because he will be held up in the corners by a car with tyres this worn. And yeah, pretty straightforward one. This might help Yuri a lot on this, what I think will be his final lap. Swavey into the pits now to get off his hard, so he can't get as many laps out of the mediums clearly on the Alpha. And it is helping Yuri. Swavey with his spin could put him down towards Rich potentially. He's putting in some fuel now. Yeah, definitely behind Hasty and O'Leary as well. And here comes Rich. So this is going to be a rough one for Swavey. He's going out of the pits right now. We'll see him on the right. There he is, and there he goes into what is for now last place, but still a long way to go in this race. We are just over halfway through lap 14 of 24. Zab's got himself a second penalty, and this is going to gift Claus a position for sure. Not now. Claus doesn't have to worry about it, but he might be diving into the pits anyway. And if he is, no, I think he's got to do another lap on these mediums though if he wants to try and make the softs work. I don't think you can make the softs work on the AMG though. Definitely not for 10 laps. So he's going around again. As is Zab, whose tyres are slightly better, and H-Boss is looking pretty comfortable, but he's lapping in the 42.8, which is a little bit quicker than the front two actually now. What kind of lap is Spin doing? A 46.8, so not great. Not great for these guys. 42.9. Matthew into the pits. Clyde carries on, so copying or doing the same strategy as Claus. So this is working out fairly well for Captain Eli, I think. Hurricane's not a million miles away from Eli. You can't really see him though on the screen, so maybe he is. So where's Matthew going to come out? Maybe around O'Leary. O'Leary on the mediums to the end. Matthew on the hards to the end. Out he comes. He is going to lose that position to O'Leary, but he can get into the slipstream potentially. Right now that the white line's gone. O'Leary's going too quick. He's got some hard work to do here. So here comes the second penalty for Zap. Is it going to be enough to drop behind H-Boss? That's what we need to find out. Claus takes the lead. right now on what is surely his in-lap. I mean, he could technically do another lap on fuel, but I don't think it's a good idea on tyres. Zab takes the corner pretty fine. Let's see, is Claus coming into the pits now? He is not. Okay, that was a fake out there. H-Boss is in the pits, so he's got the undercut potential here. But Eli might get the undercut on all of them. Where Eli is compared to H-Boss is going to be very important here. You need to be in P1 with a solid lead so that it takes a long time for anyone to catch him. But at the end of the race, Eli's tyres are going to be in a lot worse condition, potentially, unless people go on the softs and they shred them like I did. So yeah, he is comfortably ahead of H-Boss here. H-Boss coming out of the pits now. Should be ahead of Hurricane, alright. Spin only putting in 58% fuel. Not needing much at all to get to the end of the race by the looks of it. Same for Morrison, so it's a strategy decision. Hurricane and Musa, are they catching H-Boss? No, not really at all. But yeah, Eli's got a great opportunity to win this one. 42 flat in the previous lap was 2.3 seconds quicker than Zab and 6/10 quicker than Claus. And this one's going to be an even more painful lap for Claus with how worn his tyres are. He is getting caught a bit by Zab now as well. So I think he's going to try and make the softs work. This is incredibly marginal if it's what Claus ends up doing. A huge risk here. Zab in as well. I think he's going to try the same strat. I reckon Claus is as well. So a lot of FR cars try this to differing degrees of success. Clyde's actually doing another extra lap. So he doesn't want to do that. Oh no, here he comes. He was just that far back. Never mind. So H-Boss might actually get the undercut on Claus and Zab as well. This is really important to see how they do. So they both ended up filling in their fuel. Claus is out on the softs, Zab is out on the mediums. No, he's not, he's also out on the softs. They both get overtaken by Eli. Here comes H-Boss. They look quite far away on the screen, but they've only just got to the end of the white line. They are both catchable, but not by the next corner. They're already in sixth gear now. Zab's got Claus and Slipstream to help him as well. So that one didn't work out so well for H-Boss. He's putting a lot more fuel than these two because he wants to probably push his engine to the end pretty hard. And it really is an advantage. Oh, Zab's got 2.5 and he's hit the inside wall there. Oh, this is a disaster. So H-Boss, yeah, that's easily catchable, 2.5 seconds. On these soft tyres, it's backfired. So, top two in the championship fighting for the win here. H-Boss looking to get a double podium tonight if he can get past Zab and keep the position. Going to be a tall order because his tyres are a little bit more worn than Zab's. Both of them on the softs though. They're brutal 2.5 seconds. H-Boss is very comfortably in front. Hurricane is in 5th after all this with his very early pit stop. So the undercut was absolutely massive for him. Moose is in 6th, Spins in 7th, past Seat, Morrison. O'Leary's in the top 10 as well. I think he had quite an early pit stop. Then Matthew Clyde on his softs. He's on his outlap and he's going to serve a 2.5 penalty. So Rich is going to get a position by the looks of things. Yeah, very easy, way before the turning point with the speed issues. Swavy's got a second penalty that he must have just picked up, so he's going to probably drop behind Yuri as well. So, 7 laps to go. 7 laps off for these soft runner guys to try and nurse their tyres around these corners. But I'm expecting the fastest laps to start tumbling, because this is potentially the only lap a lot of these guys are going to set. That'll be a pretty fast one. Spin catching up to those two as well. Okay. Let's stick with Zab. He's on the softs. He's trying to catch H-Boss, who's also on softs, but they are a little bit more worn. And yeah, he's not doing a great job of catching him at the moment. Claus is doing a better job of catching Eli by the looks of things. Eli's on mediums that are pretty decently worn, maybe 33% worn on his tyres already. And Claus's softs are still nice and fresh. Look at that, he's taking the corner much more easily than Eli. Eli going very wide around that corner. Picks up a bit of speed on the exit at least, but this is striking distance for Claus. And the question is going to be, he has liked the bump drafting quite a lot, but he might know that Eli's on the mediums here and just go for the move, because his tyres are going to fall off at the end, and he needs to build up a bit of a cushion to Eli. And this is a great bit of slipstream. He kind of started that last corner the perfect distance away from Eli, so we can just close in and close in and close in the gap. Oh, and the corner comes very slightly too soon, so Claus can't do anything there. We know he loves a good exit from this corner, but Eli gets a decent exit there as well. So round the corner into the first Lesmo. Eli looking fairly comfortable and using a good amount of curb there, is getting reeled in. You can see the slipstream really kicking in here. Claus short shifting again. Oh, a little bit of loss of traction there for Eli. And again, Claus lifts and coasts towards the braking zone. So maybe he does still have to fuel save. He's actually got more fuel left than Eli, but he's definitely going to have to fuel save, because the AMG drinks it a lot quicker if he was to go full throttle here. This might be his one, because he isn't short shifting anymore down this straight. Eli, oh, nothing he could do, to be honest, apart from maybe tuck in here and go for a move into the chicane, but he's not really getting into the slipstream to be able to do that. A little bit too late, and he pulls out, so I don't think he's really thinking about it. Maybe settling for P2, Captain Eli, but if he can keep close enough towards the end, he might get a chance on Claus's dead tyres. It all depends how Claus can manage them. It's very on the margin to whether you enter puncture territory on that final lap. So this looks like it might be the next opportunity for an overtake, but it looks like a bit of bump drafting's going on for sure. Maybe they want to catch the top two. Don't know how possible that's going to be, because they do have quite a big gap now. But yeah, Hurricane and Musa seem to have been working together for the whole stint as well, and they have completely dropped Spin behind, who has been struggling for pace here, lapping in the 42s on his softs. Morris giving him a nice bump out of that corner, Pasty down in 9th and O'Leary 10th. So let's see, is Musa going to go for it here? He should get such a better exit than Hurricane. The Lambo actually has an alright 6th gear. It's just getting through 4th and 5th, I think, is where it struggles a little bit. Bit of bump drafting there, looks like a bit of bump drafting here, and Claus, well, nice and purple here, 39.8 is the quickest lap of the race. And Eli doing well to stick with Claus when he's setting that kind of pace. So let's do a little bit of a tyre check on these soft runners. So Claus is around 50%. H-Boss is over 50, so he might be a little bit of trouble here. Zab is over 50. Those are medium, so it's fine. Spin looks comfortable. Morrison looks comfortable, but he's serving a 2.5 second penalty, so he's definitely dropping down a position. I think he might only be one position. Claus's tyres look nice. And I think Yuri is going to struggle as well. So we might have to see some, well, we're going to see some shenanigans on the final lap, whether it's a pit stop or some cars going deep and wide and not able to take these corners anymore. We got 3 laps left. This lap for Claus is going to be a 1 minute 40.4 compared to a 40.9, so half a second quicker. Then these two who are working together are in the 41s, so they're not going to be catching the top 2. And these guys working together are in the high 41s, so again they're not going to be catching the next ones. Not too bad for Spin on that one. A 45 for Morrison with his 2.5 second penalty down in 9th. O'Leary in the 41s. Oh, Clyde in the 39s, a 39.901, almost the fastest lap there, but just missing out by 8 hundredths. 40.6 for Rich, so he's caught back up, and Yuri has decided to make a second pit stop. Definitely hasn't been planned, just not sure what happened. So is it going to be a double win for Claus? If he wins a second time this round, he is going to have how many wins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, and he has 3 double wins on an evening if he wins this one. So that will put him way to the top in the Hall of Fame for most race wins in the lower tiers, because it was really close between a lot of drivers, including him at the start of the season, and he's just completely wiped the floor with this tier, and no one else has come anywhere near close to that of the guys at the top. So it might be a record that he holds for a long time, but to add to it, after this season ends, after these next 4 races, he might have a bit of a harder time in tier 2 replicating that, especially since he's going to be outside of his favourite car, the AMG, which he's won tier 3 before in, and now he's taken an even more dominant win in tier 3 this time. I think Zab needs to go for a move before, well, it looks like he's going around the outside. This is an incredibly ambitious move here. Both of them giving each other plenty of space. You love to see it. And Zab looks like he's got the move done, as long as he can get the car turned. And he is up into P3. It looks like he's driving away. A great bit of traction on the exit there. Musa ahead of Hurricane now as well. So this is going to be into turn 1. The last minute decision. Those can easily go wrong with a little bit of lag, which makes you just bump the car instead, and then you still move out, and then you just lose your momentum. And yeah, that's quite comfortable for Musa, so into the top 5 with just a lap and a bit to go. Look at that purple first sector. Yeah, so it looks like maybe the top 5 are pretty much, top 6 pretty much sorted. Anything happening a bit further down. Matthews in, he couldn't make the hards last potentially. I don't know what's going on there. Not much happening here, I don't think, between Clyde and O'Leary. Clyde should still have a bit of a tyre advantage as well. So we are settling in at the end of the race. Let's stick with this. But it looks like, if things stay as they are, Claus in P1, Eli in P2, H-Boss tailed away now in 4th. It looks like Claus is going to have a 78-point lead, and that means he could win the championship in the sprint race. as long as Eli doesn't beat him by too many points there. So if Claus beats Eli in the sprint race in Spa, then Claus wins the championship before the feature race. And then he's got 3 basically glory races to showboat and do whatever he wants to do. But we started the final lap now. Got Matthew going for maybe fastest lap here on low fuel. Same for Yuri, he could try and do the same. Swavey with a 3-second penalty. This has not been a good feature race for him. It was a good sprint, and this feature he's really just found a lot of unfortunateness. Hurricane really close to puncture territory on that rear left tyre. Those rears, once they go too worn, they will not turn, and you'll kind of skid through the corners, and it's very easy to spin when the rear tyres are completely dead compared to the front tyres. But onto penultimate corner now for Claus. Oh no, it is the final corner he's coming up to. He's already doing a bit of weaving before he even gets to the last corner. Such is his lead. A good recovery in the feature, a little bit of a setback at the start, couldn't make progress like everyone else was, but he managed to find his way and stick with the front pack pretty nicely. He's going to take his 7th win of the season, his 3rd in a row. Eli still hasn't got a win this season. He rounds up in second place in the champ standings. Zab, his 2nd podium of the season in 3rd place. H-Boss doesn't get the double podium, but P4 is still a solid result in his best points haul of the season by far. Musa in 5th ahead of Hurricane. Then we have Pasty in 7th place. So again, fairly decent positions for both of the Lambos. Spin 8th, just ahead of his teammate Morrison in 9th. Then we've got O'Leary rounding out the top 10 in his BMW. Clyde in 11th. And then a bit of a gap now to the guys at the back. Rich was leading at one point. He's had a 1:56 on the previous lap, so he's had a nightmare to end this race on. And he's going to come home in 12th. With Matthew and Yuri, the 2 teammates, trying to maybe get a fastest lap point here with the bump drafting each other around on low fuel on soft tyres. It looks like it's only going to be Matthew who's going to be able to do it. And it's not going to be enough. It is his fastest lap of the race by 2.2 seconds though. And Yuri is 14th, and we lost Swavey before the end of the race by the looks of it. So yeah, those are the driver standings. Constructors, Mercedes have a 23-point lead over McLaren, so it's very, very close between those two as we head towards the end of the season. Next week we are in Spa, and it's going to be incredibly wet, so it's going to be an exciting one. Probably going to turn the form book on its head a little bit with incidents and everything happening. Wrong strategy decisions to go onto the wrong tyre at the wrong time as well. So yeah, join me for that. Thanks for watching.